Welcome to General Structures 2 and Lateral Forces, Lesson 1, Example number 3. And it gives us a building is located in an area where the snow load is 30 psf, and I've documented that right here, 30 psf. Let me switch colors. Okay, so 30 psf. And then the roof pitch is 35 degrees. There's 35 degrees, and I've shown that right down here. Is a reduction in the snow load permitted? So it'll be reduction. If so, how big? How much reduction? All right. Good enough. All right, and we want to use the UBC criteria. And once again, this is only the UBC criteria. Everything's going to be a little bit different. I think the newer versions use IBC, or the IBC is more current, and they usually get their stuff. So we're going to do UBC, Uniform Building Code, but IBC is what I use typically. More is there's a 2010 out there. There's also 2006, and it might be every year. I don't know. I just haven't seen them. Anyways, in this gets its stuff. Gets I won't say all of it, majority from ASCE 7. And ASCE 7 is a book of a bunch of design. It's a design code book for loads. So all it has is loads, loads, loads. It doesn't have anything else except loads. And don't hold me to that. I'm sure it might have a little bit of something else, but load. It's your load book, and this is your main load book. Every other, for instance, AASHTO will sometimes use this type of loading from ASCE 7. You'll get just about everything using those loads. Anyways, we are going to move on and go ahead and solve for this. So let's go the above paragraph. It says the Uniform Building Code permits snow loads in excess of 20 pounds. So are we greater than 20 pounds? And the answer is yes. We are at 30. So that's correct. We can use a reduced snow load. So this is yes. Yes, we can reduce. Now let's look how much. And according to that criteria, it says for anything over 20 pounds, you can, pounds per square foot, you can reduce each degree of pitch over 20 by S over 40 minus 1/2, where S is the total snow load. So let's go back, use your total snow load, which is 30 over 40, and then minus 1/2, which equals what? That's 0.75 minus 0.5 equals 0.25, and that is what? PSF per degree over 20. Wait, let me make sure that's correct. Okay, so it says reduce for each degree of pitch over 20 degrees by that. So over 20 degrees, and we have 35 degrees, so that's really 15 degrees. 15 degrees. So we can go ahead and multiply 0.25 times 15 degrees, because that's how many degrees we have over 20. And you get that by saying 35 degrees right there minus 20 equals 15. I don't want to skip any steps, so that's where I got that. Now let's go ahead and make that final. So we go over here and say, okay, we can go 0.25 PSF per, I'm just going to write this per degree to simplify it, but it's actually per degree over 20 degrees. So, or you can just say per degree, since we already subtracted out and figured out what we're multiplying it, times 15 degrees equals, don't have my calculator out. Can I do this off the top of my head? Where you're going to have times 10 is 2.5, half of that is 3.75. Let's do it by calculator. I don't trust my head math. 3.75, I was correct. 75, and what is that? Remember, it's PSF, so you're really looking at PSF over degrees times degrees, and you can look at this saying degree is over nothing, so that cancels out and you're left with PSF. So you can reduce your load which your original load was right here, and you can reduce it by that. So if they're asking how much can you reduce it by, the answer would be 3.75. If they're asking what your new load is, then your new load is minus 3.75 PSF equals what? I can do this in my head, 26.25. And that's PSF. So I would assume, I like to remember or keep in mind of what your this is just a means to an end. That's not going to tell you anything, and if you focus on this, you're going to be like, oh, well, I can use a 3.75 pounds per square foot for your snow load, and that's just not. That's actually your reduction. So here's your answer. Let's make sure we actually answered the question that they're asking. So is a reduction in the snow load permitted? And we said yes. And if so, how much is the reduction? I would say the reduction is 3.75, but the reduced load is 26.25, if that makes sense. All right, I will see you on example number 4.